Shalom, Cosmic Family. It's the Blue Magician, and I'm here with more magic today. And today we're going to be talking about paradoxes. Paradoxes astound me because it shows the extreme polarity in life. And it shows how we exist somewhere beyond those polarities, and why the things that we run away from most sometimes is the very things that exist within us or need to exist within us. Okay? I think it brings people great pain when they live their life in extremes. Okay? It doesn't matter what side of the spectrum that you're on. I was talking to an individual on Reddit yesterday, and they were talking about the system and how, as we try to become more spiritual, that there's all these systems put in place to kind of keep us stuck. Now, I see this individual's point of view. However, you can always look at it from two sides of the spectrum, right? I mean, when you think about chaos or negativity, it cannot be erased as a whole, because on a higher level, our planet, our solar system, our galaxy came into existence because of chaos, right? So, chaos on a smaller scale, as far as dogmatic systems, right? On a higher scale, it looks like harmony. You understand? And so, I don't know. It's something about our way of seeing things. It's very dualistic. It's not unified. But I feel that's because we have been taught life backwards from to begin with. Before I get too far into the topic, I just want to say that language in general is a barrier. Okay? Because there's certain rules, right, in when we are speaking to be linguistically correct or grammatically correct, right? Which in turn can be a blockage because our way of speaking and identifying with things, it can be limiting. Okay? So that's why paradoxes, or our perception, our way of perceiving things, it can get very complicated, confusing, and it can even lead us around into like chasing our own tail and like feeling stuck, feeling stagnant, or feeling like we never can win, right? However, but as I was saying, I feel like life has already been taught to us backwards, okay? That's because I guess I'll just say, as humans, we already from the beginning are, our brains, they are not perfect, okay? And error is inevitable. But from a small child, we are taught certain things, or we have observed certain things that they actually are again backwards. For example, we're taught that you only live once, and because of this, you should have fun and live every day like it's your last, because one day might be your last. And this is very true, but we see it time and time again. If you live every day with no regards, or no sort of structure, no sort of goal or design, then later in life you will hit roadblocks, and your life can end up becoming difficult because you never had no sense of structure. You understand? However, if while you are young and you're growing up, you do what is difficult to do, you learn the difficult things, you learn the difficult life lessons, later on in life, you'll become adjusted and your life can be more easy. You get more freedom in certain places, right? That's a paradox in itself, right? We're taught that for people to like us, we must try hard. However, when you try hard for people to like you, something within them just kind of pushes you away because they're like, whoa, chill out. Like, why are you trying so hard? You understand? And that in itself is a turnoff. It's a paradox, right? So we've been taught life backwards, but thinking about it now, life is backwards. You understand? So it leads me to the topic of understanding that there is a rhythm to life. Understanding that we don't have to fight these polar extremes. Like, okay, I'm not gonna try. No, I'm gonna try to not try. Then that's unnatural. And then you create another adverse effect, right? So I think the whole goal and understanding of it all is that every corner of life has its place. Okay? And it brings me back up to what I mentioned earlier about the conversation I had with the individual on Reddit yesterday. Of everything has its place. Chaos has its place, right? We need those higher powers in the system that try to do everything they can to stop our growth, to help us become uncomfortable to grow. There's no way around it. So I believe paradoxes teaches us compassion, and it helps us to understand that we all co-create. Because I feel because of the rule and law of co-creation, if we try to impose our will or way of seeing things just to one color or lens on life when there's many other colors, it causes us great pain, and we can even be a bit delusional. It's hard for others to connect with us. We can only connect with one group when there's a whole wide world of a diverse range of people. And then it makes our social life a bit triggering, right? It's like every time you come across and you're communicating with others, you always seem to be a bit triggered because you don't have the maturity to accept their way of being and seeing things while still being able to hold space for the way you see things and comfortably speak your opinion, right? So paradoxes and polar extreme teaches us to be more tolerant and accepting and understanding of each other. It helps us to see different parts of life that can be helpful and beneficial, right? So the point there is, again, not to resist. There's a flow and there's a rhythm to life. And the way I like to tune into that flow is always, at the end of the day, come back to myself, meditate, reflect, try to see things a bit from a detached space, because we are emotional, so we become attached. And then there's laws of energy, right? So if you have this obsessive energy, the energy of obsession is unhealthy, so it just attracts unhealthy things to you, right? It's almost like fear. If there's a fear that you have, right, it may be so silly, but the more you blow it up and pay attention to it, the more it becomes real, right? Like, I personally have a fear of messing up in public, right? When I'm communicating with others, there's this shyness, there's this uncertainty, uneasiness, right? Though, if you were to go out in nature, there's no such thing as perfect. You'll look at the trees, they all look different. It's natural. There's no judgment there. You look at the clouds, they all look different. It's natural. There's no judgment there, right? And if something was to be messed up, was to be out of place, you'd never know it, because the flow of it is, it's not, there's no hesitance or choking up, but there's just flow. If you mess up and you catch yourself and continue to keep going without just meditating on the fact that you messed up, people are less likely to see it. You understand? So it goes to show that intention, I guess, it matters. And being flexible, and yeah, just being flexible. But first, on the note of intention, you want to observe your state of being, right? Observe where you might need to take a different approach to things. Because again, we can healthily integrate polarities or extreme polarities, right? If you're somebody who loves to work a lot because you know it can better your life, that same very thing can be toxic, right? If you working too much, you don't have time for personal relationships. You don't have time to rest yourself. You don't have time to see what else can use improvement on your life if you're just working on one thing, or if you're just focused, you have one sort of vision. You understand? And so that can become toxic, and that very thing you're working towards that you feel like it'll bring you happiness, if everything around you is falling apart, then you probably won't be happy in the end. And so if that's your way of being, then in time where you're facing a rigid challenge, continue to maintain your diligence and your focus on where it is that you're going. Don't just ditch your vision because I tell you ditch your vision. However, try taking a step back sometimes and saying, this is a part of life, but this is not all of life. Let me try to be diverse, and let me try to go with the flow a bit. I said that I wanted to work every day out of this week, but let me just take one day to spend with my family. You understand? Switch up the rhythm a little bit, because that's the game of life. We create these designs in our mind, but they're only just concepts, and at the end of the day, they're empty. I know that's a bit hard to understand, but they're empty. Take this, right? Our mind is consistently existing in the future, always thinking about what's next to come, right? But when we actually get to the future, what happens? Our mind creates more designs, and we can't even enjoy that future moment like, wow, I'm here. No, but it's like, where am I going next? You understand? And it's all just, at the end of the day, empty, because it's our mind's way of stimulating itself through this limitless potential of manifestation. You understand? And so have fun with it. Have fun with it. But life is always much more interesting, fun, and healthy with a balance. Okay? And I believe that's the true underlying factor of paradoxes. Why certain things just seem to go in circles, right? It's because it's trying to teach us balance. It's trying to teach us surrender, right? We have always heard the scenarios, tables turn. Don't be mean to someone because you don't know later on what position that they might be in. And the tables will turn and you'll be in a lower position. It's like the scales of balance. They're always changing. You understand? So it keeps us, it breeds in us a sense of humility. And I think that is beautiful. Because for me, what I love most about life is not, or I should say how I experience life, is not my ability to find an optimistic view on everything, but it's my ability to be able to detach and observe from a neutral space and see the different colors and layers of life. It's my flexibility that I love. Sometimes I'm in a space where I'm all shooting forward. Sometimes I'm in a hermit mode where I'm off of social media. You understand? Going through all of these different phases. And I don't value one more than the other. So that is all I have for you guys today. I hope maybe you guys can take something from it, and maybe it'll make you reflect on something in your life that maybe you can become more flexible around, so you can experience a different side of life, right? So that way we can inevitably find balance. That is it. And find peace in our lives. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.